So, you want to build cool apps or get into AI? Well, before you can do any of that, you've got to learn the alphabet. Not A, B, C, but the fundamental symbols that a language like Python actually understands. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Okay, let's just jump right in with a question for you. Can you just open up a Python file and type in, well, anything, random symbols from your keyboard, a couple emojis, maybe some characters from a different language, and just expect it to work? You probably guessed it. The answer is a big, fat no. And understanding why is your real first step to thinking like a programmer.
And this right here, this really just nails the whole idea. When we speak or write, we use an alphabet, numbers, and punctuation. Python has the exact same thing, but in the programming world, we give it a slightly fancier name, a character set. It's the language it speaks, plain and simple.
All right, so let's put an official name to this idea and define what we really mean when we say character set. Think of it as the official rulebook for the language's most basic parts.
So, officially, it's just the complete collection of all the valid characters that Python has been built to recognize. If a character isn't on that approved list, Python basically throws its hands up and says, "Sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about."
Let's make it even simpler. It's the approved list of ingredients for your code. It's the specific set of letters, numbers, and symbols you're allowed to use to build your programs. Anything else is off limits.
This is a fantastic way to think about it. When you send a text, you're using a set of characters that all phones agree on. But if you've ever tried to send a weird symbol and it just shows up as an empty box or a question mark on your friend's phone, well, Python does the same thing. It can only work with the characters it was taught to recognize.
Okay, so what's actually on this approved list? What are these building blocks? It really just comes down to 5 main categories. Let's walk through them one by one.
First up, the one we all know and love, letters. This is the alphabet of our new language.
So, no surprises here. Python gets all the regular uppercase and lowercase letters. But, and this is a big one, something that trips up so many beginners, you have to remember this crucial rule. Python is case sensitive. Let me show you exactly what that means.
Look at this. To you and me, name with a little n and name with a capital N are pretty much the same word, right? But in Python's world, no way. They are as different as cat and dog. They are 2 totally separate variables that can hold 2 completely different pieces of info.
All right, block number 2, digits, the numbers. These are the foundation for, doing any kind of math or handling numerical data in your programs. Yeah, this one's pretty simple. Python knows about the numbers 0 through 9. You just combine them to make any number you need, whether it's for keeping score in a game, counting items, or storing a year.
And here's a super simple example of how you'd use them. We've got a variable called marks that's holding the number 95, and another one called year, holding 2026. Easy, clean, and all using the valid digits from our character set.
Okay, on to our third category, special symbols. And if you think about it, these are kind of like the punctuation of our code. They give it structure and tell Python what actions to take. Now, this table just shows a tiny handful, but you can already see how powerful they are. You've got the plus sign for math, parentheses to group things together, the hash symbol for writing notes that the code ignores, and hey, pay close attention to the equal signs. A single equals gives a value, but a double equals checks if 2 things are the same. See? Tiny symbol, huge difference in meaning.
All right, next up is a category that's kind of sneaky but is ridiculously important in Python, white spaces. I love this idea of calling it the invisible ink of your code, because you don't always see it, but its presence is absolutely critical.
Just look at this in plain English. The one on the left is a mess, right? It's all jammed together. The one on the right, with one little space, is instantly readable. That's the basic idea. But in Python, it's so much more than just for looks. So we're talking about the space bar, the tab key, and hitting enter for a new line. But here's the absolute game changer with Python. It's not optional. In many other languages, it's just for making code look pretty. In Python, it is a fundamental rule of the language's grammar, specifically for something called indentation.
This example says it all. See those spaces before the print line? That's not a suggestion. It's mandatory. It tells Python, hey, this print line belongs to the if statement above it. If you forget those spaces, boom, your program breaks. You get the famous indentation error. That's how important this invisible ink really is.
And that brings us to our fifth and final category, and honestly, this one is what makes Python feel so incredibly modern and, well, global. We're talking about the world of other characters, thanks to something called Unicode.
This is just so cool. Python isn't locked into being an English-only language. You can literally write variable names in Hindi, you can print out messages in Japanese, and yes, you can actually toss emojis right into your code. How awesome is that? It makes Python a truly worldwide language.
Okay, so we've seen the 5 big groups. Let's just take a second to wrap up why this stuff actually matters. Why do we even need to know about this? It's not just trivia, it's essential.
Well, first, to avoid errors, plain and simple. Use a symbol Python doesn't recognize, your code breaks. Second, it's about making your code readable for yourself later and for anyone else who looks at it. But most importantly, you guys, this is square one. You can't build a house without a foundation, and you can't write code without knowing its alphabet.
So look at this. We've come full circle. The whole analogy just clicks into place, doesn't it? Our human alphabet lines up with Python's letters. Our numbers are its digits. Our punctuation marks are its special symbols. The spaces we use to write are Python's all-important white spaces. And our ability to speak different languages is mirrored by Python's amazing support for Unicode. Think about it. Every single Python program ever written, from the simplest script to the most complex AI, is built from these 5 simple groups of characters. They're like the Lego bricks of coding. So the real question is, now that you know what the bricks are, what are you going to build?